23 right now. Santa's going to have some clear skies to deliver all those presents. Jen's got your full forecast in just a minute. But first, some toys can be trouble for children. A recent study found that a child is treated in a U.S. emergency room for a toy-related injury every 3 minutes. That is a staggering statistic. Shelli Stephens-Stidham is the director of the Injury Prevention Center for Greater Dallas. And here really with some tips to keep the kiddos safe.
Absolutely. Christmas is supposed to be a fun time of year, and everybody thinks that their child is probably the smartest child
right,
ever.
Course.
But the thing to remember is make sure that you read the labels. Make sure that the toy is age appropriate for the child. So if the toy says on there 4+
right.
or 5+, that means that it really shouldn't be used for a child under that age. Good rule of thumb for parents is that if a toy can fit into a toilet roll, then it poses a choking hazard for the child.
So really, when we're thinking about this, we're kind of considering that this would be to replicate a windpipe.
Exactly.
So, and when we're talking about that, the toy, is it also important to understand, not only are we talking about the actual toy, but maybe toys that have pieces that can come off?
Toys that have pieces that can come off. For example, this has batteries in it it's very easy for this piece to come off. Can slip through there. So if you've got older children and younger children at the same time, be sure you think about the younger children when you're buying toys for the older child.
We see a lot of folks sometimes, with the battery compartments here, and nowadays they have the ones that screw on, and people say, oh, it's such a pain in the neck. I got the tiny little screwdriver and put it back on and off. But really, folks fail to realize that this actually itself, it's not so much the battery some folks are concerned about, but that this actually can become the choking hazard.
Exactly, and the important thing to remember is make sure that that the battery compartment does have something that you have to use a screwdriver to screw off. Another really important thing, a lot of objects have these button batteries, and these can pose a very serious hazard to young children. Not only are they choking hazards, but children who ingest button batteries can die in about 2 hours.
When we talk about toys for kids, it's important obviously to make sure that the toys your children are playing with are age appropriate. A lot of families though have older kids in the house, so it's hard sometimes to keep the kids away from what their older brother or sister is playing with.
Exactly, and this is where parents need to make sure that they keep the toys for older children after the child has finished playing with it up and out of reach of younger children. One thing that I do want to recommend is a lot of kids get bikes or scooters or things like that. It's very important that you also include a bike helmet. This is one for an 8-year-old, but it even helmets are available for children as young as 3 years old.
When we're talking about toys for younger kids, you and I were talking before the segment, we see a lot of these, these pull toys. We hear about the cords a lot of time in the news. Have we really made strides here, or are these cords generally at a length where they should be safe, or should I be trimming these?
Well, for toys, if it is an age-appropriate toy, and this is something that is fine for a child that is under the age of 3, but this string is not long enough that it's going to get wrapped around the child's neck and strangle. These are actually good toys because they help develop fine motor skills.
Excellent. Shelli Stephens-Stidham, we appreciate your time this morning. We have more information right now, I believe, on our station website. Thanks so much for being with us.